Alright, so title of the story is Every Selection is Rigged. And I'm working on a project over here. This is the project that I'm working on. These are some of the videos. It's done by Enter the Stars. So for those of you who are a little bit confused by how I just jump into this, just understand that this is part of a larger series of videos. So without any further ado, let me get to the content. Now, Casey had done a segment on Hegelian education systems and how a specific group of people had infiltrated America, not as its only means, but one of the significant ways was infiltrating education from the elementary level all the way up to postgraduate programs. So, the subject or topic that Casey left off on was Skull and Bones. Just to clarify, Skull and Bones is a fraternal organization. This is their logo. It's housed in Yale, New Haven, Connecticut. Here's their buildings. You can walk by or drive by their buildings. There's a lot of prominent members, a lot of presidents, a lot of CEOs. We'll get into that in a second. Now, the origins of the Skull and Bones Society. Let's see. Founded in 1832, and the Russell Trust Association is the business name for New Haven, Connecticut-based Skull and Bones Society, Incorporated, in 1856. Incorporated, so they basically have a charter to exist. Now, William Huntington Russell was the founder or the incorporator of this, and Daniel Coit Gilman was its first treasurer. Now, the significance of Gilman here is that he later went on to become the president of University of California, Berkeley, and John Hopkins, and also first president of the Carnegie Foundation. So let's go over some stuff that pertains to what I just showed. Now, this is a channel called Daw-Finish. You can find it right here. As far as I know, this is the only video of somebody who allegedly broke into Skull and Bones. However, I think there's more to this video than meets the eye because I think they only show the surface. It's poor cell phone footage. Let me do that again. The cell phone footage is grainy and shaky, so not too much is shown, but there are some, rather eerie things that you wouldn't think would be in a prestigious university. Anyways, another place you can look is this video right here from YoFam, Skull and Bones ritual footage. And apparently there's like some sacrificial, not a true human sacrifice, but an enactment of it, and they dress up in robes and pretend to be witches, and this is apparently in the courtyard. Yeah, I don't know, when's that? April 23rd, 2001. So anyways, I want to direct your attention to the list of Skull and Bones members. Actually, give me a second, just in case I have anybody chatting with me. No, nobody yet. But so I want to change your attention over to list of Skull and Bones members. You can go through, you can look at all the prominent figures who have graduated. You will recognize a lot of names, and this is where people who join this fraternity. They do not sign up. They are what's called tapped on the shoulder, so they are selected. One of the people that I would like to bring to our attention is Senator Prescott Bush in 1916 has long been rumored to have played a role in the Skull and Bones alleged theft of the Native American leader Geronimo. Also, because this will be brought up later on, here we have George H.W. Bush, and 2 years later, or 2 years prior, he'll be in the same. John Kerry is in this list as well. Give me a second. They attended. Okay, I can't find it. Here we go. John Kerry, right here. I was looking at Bush's father, wasn't I? Here we go. George Bush, who graduated in 68, and John Kerry, who graduated in 66. John Forbes Kerry, by the way, who married into the Hines family. Right? So, just to review. George Bush graduated from Skull and Bones from Yale in the Skull and Bones fraternity in 1968, and John Kerry in 1966. They were in the same frat at the same years, and they ended up being in the same presidential election. This is what I'm going to cover going forward. Geronimo Skull and Bones. Now, right here, the skull and crossbones that they show here as a trophy is alleged to be Geronimo, truly the last free man of the world. And when I say free man, I say the final person who roamed planet Earth without restrictions from the beast system. This was humanity's last hope at clinging on to freedom, and that is why they paraded around as a trophy. Now, in case you're wondering, yes, this is pertinent to Wharton University of Pennsylvania because they are an Ivy League school, so we will get into that. First, I want to go through and I want to review a series of elections. We are going to start, we're not going to go further back than 1908 election. Starting with William Howard Taft, who, by the way, was a bonesman. Okay. The next election would bring in Woodrow Wilson. Furthermore, this is the time of the series of stock market crashes that began in, I believe, 1909 and proceeded throughout the next few years to bring on the Federal Reserve Act. But first, let's look at Woodrow Wilson. Let's look at Wilson's education. Princeton, Johns Hopkins. That is Skull and Bones and Hegelian affiliated. So, why is Woodrow Wilson so important? Let's look at the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. For those of you who watched the movie Titanic and think it is a love story, think again. There were senators who opposed the Federal Reserve Act of 19 on the Titanic, and that is why it was sunk. Now, if you want to be more familiar with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 is the current fiat system that is coming to an end as we speak. The the cult classic in terms of Federal Reserve literature is The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. Wilson, in 1920s, Woodrow Wilson served until 21. Woodrow Wilson, in his last days, signed into power the 18th Amendment via the Volstead Act. Now, a lot of people know about Prohibition and how, first of all, Prohibition doesn't work. Second of all, Prohibition really gave rise to organized crime, which existed prior to Prohibition, but truly gave a reason for Prohibition to Prohibition truly gave a reason for organized crime to thrive. Now, there are a few key things I want to point out here in regards to some of the things surrounding Prohibition. Now, to prevent bootleggers from using industrial ethyl alcohol to produce illegal beverages, the federal government ordered the poisoning of industrial alcohols. In response, bootleggers hired chemists who successfully renatured alcohol to make it drinkable. As a response, the Treasury Department required manufacturers to add more deadly poisons, including the particularly deadly methyl alcohol, consisting of 4 parts methanol, 2.25 parts pyridine base, and 0.05 parts benzene per 100 parts of ethyl alcohol. Okay? Now, the significance of this is benzene molecules are the base of Xanax and other anti-prescription drugs. When a person inhales or is exposed to exhaust fumes of a passing car, they are getting a small dose of benzenes, which are the Xanax-based molecules. There are some people who say that Prohibition was about controlling the populace and what's called the dry movement, and which is largely tied to religion. But there are some people say that those movements were hijacked by the powers that be, most specifically the oil cartels, because people were finding ways to not have to purchase oil and run vehicles that way. So they enacted the prohibition laws to mess with people's ability to be independent and create their own oil. There is stuff out there. There's information out there regarding the reason why lead was added to oil was because people were drinking this illegal alcohol, and that's why lead was put into oil, knowing full well how poisonous it was and how bad for people it was. So 1920 presidential election was between Warren G. Harding and James M. Cox. Now, I cannot find anything regarding the the Hegelian education of either Warren G. Harding or James M. Cox, but as far as I could tell, James M. Cox, while he was a senator in Ohio, voted against the 18th Amendment. Therefore, I believe that's the reason why Harding was pushed forth. That's just about all I can find for that election. Next election, 1924, Calvin Coolidge and we'll take a look at Calvin Coolidge. So, education of Coolidge, Amherst College. Nothing really, stands out unless we look here. Ready? As a senator, he joined the fraternity Phi Gamma Delta and graduated cum laude. While at Amherst, Coolidge was profoundly influenced by philosophy professor Charles Edward Garman, a congressional mystic with neo-Hegelian philosophy. There we go. Now let's take a look at Phi Gamma Delta. Here we have the Bohemian Moloch owl, the one found on celebrity clothing, the one found on the dollar bill, the one found on the blueprint of Washington, D.C. This is known as, this fraternity group, along with others, is known as the Jefferson Duo or the Triad, which is a group of fraternities. And while they seem to be separate, they are actually related. Not in name, but through association. You can look into that. A prominent list of Phi Gamma Delta members as follows. Donald Trump Jr. from University of Pennsylvania, where the Wharton business branch is. Now, I will say that I couldn't find any information about Donald Trump being a part of. Oh, hold on. I have a visitor. Sorry if I get sidetracked here. I want to say hello to my chat members. This is the first time I've been with Georgie. Hey Georgie, what's up? So, sorry for that. I could not find anything on Donald Trump's association with any senators. Excuse me. I could not find any association with Donald Trump in terms of fraternities, but to be honest with you, I couldn't find anything about Donald Trump while he was at Wharton, Pennsylvania. The only people that seem to remember Donald Trump are people who are now CEOs or now celebrities. Now, I'm not saying that Donald Trump didn't go to college. I'm just saying that it's very easy that Donald Trump's admissions were bought and paid for by bribes, and his absentees were overlooked by teachers, and much like the way Jared Kushner went to Harvard and graduated with like C grades, but while he was at university, he profited something like $2 million in real estate deals. So, if somebody wants to go in and look into Donald Trump's education at Wharton, do so. I'm currently, I downloaded a copy of Art of the Deal. I'm going to go on and read that and see if I can find anything. I know for a fact that in the Art of the Deal, he talks about him studying under one of the prominent Kabbalah teachers. So, anyways, back to the elections. Right? 1928 election was Herbert Hoover. Now, let's look real quick. Herbert Hoover, where was he educated? Well, Stanford University. But that's not the significance of Hoover. Significance of Hoover was his work that he did during, so here we are in 28. The significance of Hoover was the work that he did for the government during Prohibition. He was, after the 1920 election, Harding appointed Hoover as Secretary of Commerce. I'll highlight this. Hoover continued to serve under Coolidge. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay. No. No. Yeah, here. Sorry about this. I read through this once and I didn't rehearse it today. So, Secretary of Commerce. Let's see. His job during Prohibition was basically to um, he was a communist. There's almost no other way to put it that he was a communist. Uh, so he passed in the Radio Act of 1927, allowed the government to intervene and abolish radio stations that were deemed non-useful to the public. So they just Donald Trump is not the first person to say fake news. These communist tactics were used by the government back during the days of Prohibition. Uh, let's see. I guess I should have rehearsed this. There's something in here that says that Hoover was responsible for increasing the efficiency of the economy, which on the surface it sounds great. Somebody steps in and makes the economy more efficient. However, that's a guise for basically what he said. Basically, what they did was they wanted to find the people who were self-sufficient and were not, bolstering the communist efforts of the United States, and basically tax them heavy. I'm going to sit here and find this, but I don't want to waste too many people's time. Okay, let me read this. Hoover demanded and received authority to coordinate economic affairs through the government. He created many sub-departments and committees overseeing the regulating everything from manufacturing statistics to air travel. In some instances, seized control of responsibilities from other cabinets when they deemed they were not carrying out their responsibilities well. Some began referring. Maybe this isn't. I had it. This is one of the things that frustrates me because I can explain it to you, but I'd rather read it. When I use these videos. Rockefeller Gnostic Illuminated Beliefs. Norman Vincent Peale. Okay, I haven't heard of him. Thanks, S90. I will definitely look into that. So I'm going into, maybe this was where I wanted to read. Man, Federal American, he donated files. So there was a lot of stuff that Hoover did in terms of. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to read. This paragraph right here. I think. So, the U.S. Food Administration, I'm pretty sure, eventually became the FDA, that demonic organization that just. Oh, man. Thank you, S90, for. Yeah, man, I love my garden too, and I like to put my garden videos out there for other people to enjoy. I enjoy making the videos. I wish more people would just post their gardening videos, not be like embarrassed of failures. Like, my garden is a failure every year, but I love making the videos for people to just appreciate another person failing at gardening. you know um, Anyways, World War I created a global food crisis, and Hoover's chief goal as a food czar was, under the broad powers granted Food and Fuel Control Act, the Food Administration supervised food production throughout the United States. I didn't have coffee today, excuse me. And the administration made use of his authority to buy, import, and sell food. Determined to avoid rationing, Hoover established set days for people to Determined to avoid rationing, Hoover established set days for people to avoid eating specified foods and save them for soldiers' rations. Meatless Mondays, wheatless Wednesdays, and when in doubt, eat potatoes. These policies were dubbed Hooverizing by government publicists. In spite of Hoover's continual orders that publicity should not be mentioned by name, this is the FDA. Man, there's more that I wanted to get to, but I'm not going to waste any more time. Basically, I'm just showing how this parallels the times ahead. And how the government will say that they're stepping in and creating these organizations and these rules to make things more efficient, and people go along with it, when really the whole meaning of America was self-sufficiency and not relying on the government anyways. And there are people that need help from the government, but let's face it, there's a lot of stupid, it's a very subjective statement, but there are a lot of stupid people in the world, and I don't think that I should be punished. I don't think that I should suffer for other stupid people. I don't mind charity. I don't mind paying it forward, but and this is basically what I'm getting into, and I'm going off on a rant as I always do. So let's move on, because 1932 presidential election was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Okay, this was immediately following FDR. Well, first, let's click on FDR. Of the Roosevelt family, yeah. Graduated from Harvard and Columbia. Again, more Hegelian schools, okay? Now, almost immediately upon entering office, the 21st Amendment to the United States Constitution was signed, basically ratifying the 18th and the Volstead Act. It ended prohibition. So the reason that they ended prohibition was simply because they needed money. So they were okay with having organized crime to a degree, and they were okay with spending money and resources, oppressing people's right to drink alcohol. Me, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol. I think I drank alcohol once or twice since September of 2013. So I don't drink alcohol. I don't like alcohol. I mean, if I did drink alcohol, it'd probably be tequila. But that being said, I know the health reasons why not to drink alcohol, but if somebody else wants to drink alcohol, that's their right. We're not talking about, some of the crazy stuff out there that's without a doubt wrong, whether it's against the law or not. I'm simply talking about the consumption of alcohol, a person's right to choose. So while the government no longer wanted to spend resources oppressing the common person, is when they let prohibition go, because they needed they needed the tax, they needed the money from it, because they destroyed the global economy. It's just what they do. Now, result. What's this? Oh, is this Alpha Delta Phi? Is this where Roosevelt went? I don't know why that tab was up there. Was I supposed to go through and read some stuff here? I should have rehearsed this. I rehearsed it yesterday. Anyways, I don't know why Alpha Delta Phi is up there. Here we go. He was a member of Alpha Delta Phi and the Fly Club. That's why it was up there. Alpha Delta Phi is one of the, I think it's related to anyways, moving on. So the FBI existed. Hold on, I got some messages. How many presidents were in Skull and Bones? Well, that's what, speaking of Skull and Bones, the Templar used the symbol, then the Masons and the Pirates. Yeah, it goes way further back. They will destroy an organization, or even look today. We call them corporations. They'll destroy a corporation, make a corporation go bankrupt, but then, hush hush deals under the table. Somebody will buy out all their data and their contracts, and then the CEOs or the cousins of the CEOs or whoever will get hired a few years later, and then it's just remote operations. And yeah, Skull and Bones goes back. Now listen, Georgie and S90. I'm working on a video. I didn't do the video. I myself did not do the video. Casey over at Enter the Stars did the video. He went in and he went in and found the literature behind the effort to infiltrate America's school systems. This goes back very far. This goes back very far. Yeah, any of these secret societies that are not open to public application, and even the ones that are. I mean, I'm not against organizations. So for example, one of the people that I follow for trading, Gregory Mannarino, he is a Freemason. People say he's a 32nd degree Freemason. He gets his orders from the cabal. I'm like, listen, on a street level, on the surface level, people join the Freemasons for their history, for brotherhood and charity. This is on the surface, okay? I want people to understand this. Now, you also have to understand that Gregory Mannarino probably joined the Masons in like the 80s or the 90s before the internet was around. So all he did, because he got out of the military, I think he served in the military, he got out of the military and he needed some type of coordination with fellow human beings that work towards a common greater goal. And that's how they lure people in. That's exactly how they lure people in. And then, after a while, they figure out who they can use for their nefarious plans, and then they initiate them into the secret teachings. So when, I will defend Gregory Mannarino, and I'll say that regardless of him being a Freemason, it is what it is. Yeah, they shake it, and the bunks they want to get scooped out and sent to a dark organization. Yeah, so the cream will rise to the top. Yep. Yes, exactly. You got it, S90. Anyway, so the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, was not originally called the FBI. It eventually was like an amalgamation of different companies. So this goes back to the 1896 area. NBCI and all this other stuff, and it formed with the BOI, which is the Bureau of Investigation, for 1908. Let's see. So then in 1933 was the FBI. But then if we look at, where was the Prohibition, the Prohibition organization? So let me go back. Whatever organization that the ATF is a result of Prohibition. And let's look. Okay, so the 16th Amendment in 1913 under Wilson replaced alcohol taxes that funded the federal government with a federal income tax. Federal prohibition agents were placed on the task force. Here we go. 3 federal agencies were assigned to the task of enforcing the Volstead Act. The U.S. Coast Guard Office of Law Enforcement, the U.S. Treasury's IRS Bureau of Prohibition, and the U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Prohibition, eventually becoming the FBI, eventually becoming the um, the ATF, eventually becoming the IRS. And I really do want to go back over when I put this in my final video. The reason I'm doing this on the fly and I'm jumping all over the place is I'll put it in my final video. I'll cut the scenes and I'll make it all ordered. So I definitely thank you guys for bearing with me. Yeah, it's confusing. So people, it's difficult to follow. You know, the same way political parties, they change over time and their goals and this that, and everybody fights over Democrat versus Republican, and really it's just the same party. They go back and forth. So I really do want to go over Hoover because I feel I'm missing something here. I really feel I'm missing something in terms of the stuff that he did, the organizations that he was a part of, the things that they did. Okay, there we go. This is definitely what I wanted to. Part of this, like, um, let's see. So they wanted to establish the League of Nations, which is basically the initial formation of the UN. The Operation, wait, OSS. Why do I not? I know what you're referring to, but I don't know the initials off the top of my head. So, anyways, the following year, famed British economist John Maynard Keynes, which is, you know, print and print and print and print until the fiat system ends, wrote The Economic Consequences of Peace, that if Hoover's realism, blah, 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 blah. Hoover transformed the ARA into a private organization. I mean, it's like, so anyways, Secretary of the Interior or Secretary of Commerce? Oh, here we go. Harding paired Hoover's nomination with that of conservative favor Andrew Mellon, as in Carnegie Mellon, as Secretary of Treasury. Hoover sought to follow. Okay, this is what I was talking about when they controlled the economy. He sought to foster a balance among labor, capital, and government, and for this has been variously labeled as corporatist or an associationalist. In my opinion, in other words, they would just go around and they'd find people who wanted to be self-sufficient. They would find people who didn't want to comply with the greater order of the New World Order, who just wanted to be farmers, who just wanted to be merchants, who just wanted to do this, and they would penalize them. They would put regulations on them, so on and so forth. Anyways, this is I'm not trying to get into a huge history of economics. I'm not the best at it, but this is all about elections, and I forgot where we were. Okay. The formation of the FBI, the BOI, and all this, that, and the third. This all ties into the beginning of the mafia. Okay. This is what the FBI was created for. Everybody knows Al Capone. Yeah, Keynes goes brr, exactly. So, everybody knows who Al Capone is, at least a little bit. The organized gang got there, they began to thrive during the Prohibition era. This is clear. Like this is, it's unmistakable. So another people might know of is, Lucky Luciano. He was it Gambino or Genovese? I forget. Okay, Genovese, right? Y'all see that? This is in the next series of videos that I do regarding Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden and their associations with the mafia when they got out of school before they became huge political figures. They were all running around with respective crime families. Okay, this is going to tie into COINTELPRO. This is going to tie into the Black Panthers. It's all going to tie into the stuff today with Black Lives Matter, the mafia, Trump, Biden, Clinton, Obama, all of it. But that's another video. This video is already 20 minutes longer than it should have been. Thanks, guys. Thanks for distracting me, guys and girls. No, I'm kidding. I love the input. I love chatting with people. Cause I enjoy reading, but I hate doing this stuff. I can't lie. I hate doing this stuff. And so, in Casey's previous, videos. He began to talk about Thomas Dewey and Thomas Dewey's connection to John Dewey. John Dewey is the deemed the father of modern education. He is the one who brought Hegelianism from John Dewey is the one who brought Hegelian education from Bavaria, Germany, where the Illuminati was founded. So that's in the last video. I apologize. You're going to have to wait for it. But you can look it up. It was mentioned. Where was it? Anthony T. Sutton. Where did I click on it? Anyways, Anthony T. Sutton wrote a book called America Something Something or Other, The Education of America. If you want, you can go look that one up. So, this led to the 1936 election. We see that FDR ran against Thomas Dewey eventually. But FDR served 4 terms, and then eventually they limited the terms. FDR was the first person to drop. No, I gotta stop myself. It wasn't FDR. It was Truman who dropped the bomb. Truman, as far as I can tell, was a military man through in and throughout, and they brought Truman in. Yeah. There's look, when I began looking into like the mafia connections to Trump about a month ago, and I'm still like every day I'll be like, "Oh, great. Now there's another name I need to look up." It's so deep. It's so rife with corruption and connections. It's not even funny. But Truman was brought in, like as far as I could tell. Truman, by the way, is the only president. Don't quote me on this, but I believe Truman's the only president to not graduate college. He was a military man. Has a well-decorated military career. He was the one who dropped the atomic bomb on Japan, both bombs. And he also was the person who continued America's bloodthirst for war into Korea. I'm not getting into whether or not the wars were just. I'm just simply saying that after FDR, they brought in the military person, not the college educated peacetime leaders, because they wanted to carry out this war machine. They really wanted to carry out the war machine. So Eisenhower, I'm honestly off track right now. But Eisenhower's Jesuit, Hegelian, as far as I know. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Eisenhower later went on to become the president of Columbia University and the first supreme leader as NATO. So whether or not these people get their start in the Hegelian school system, they always end up furthering the agenda. Anything Russia is left to slides. Yeah, I haven't heard of Vladislav Doranin, but I do know that Felix Sater. Felix Sater is like a very well-connected mafia boss, and he was a chief financial advisor for Trump Tower. He also got caught um, on some stock market schemes in the 90s, I think it was. Felix Sater. That's not his original name. When he got initiated into the cult. Hold on. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done. When Felix Sater got initiated into the cult, this is his real name, Mikhail Shafirovsky. He changed his name to Sater because this is what a Sater is. It's a fucking Baphomet. Excuse my language. Oh, man. So, this is where I'm going to end. Yeah, this is where I'm going to end. Otherwise, I'm just going to be ranting way too much. I mean, we could sit around and talk for 5-10 minutes. But, this is where I'm going to end because COINTELPRO, beginning of 1956. Y'all see the connection between prohibition, the rise of organized crime. You see how the government parades around agendas such as the dry movements, prohibition movements carried out by religious and just ethical people, that, whatever their movements are. There was a statistic like there was like suicide, cirrhosis, and infant mortality all went down significantly during the times of prohibition. So the health reasons are there, and there are people who advocate these health movements, and then the government hijacks and uses those movements for their own behind-the-scenes agenda. So y'all see how organized crime rose to the top, and only when organized crime gets out of control, only when organized crime threatens their control grid, do they step in and pretend to be against organized crime. That's my whole point here, because the next video that I go into is going to be the ties between COINTELPRO, the Kennedy assassinations, the destruction of the African American communities by breaking up the Black Panthers, turning them into the Bloods and the Crips. The whole story. I don't know if I'm going to go into the story behind the Bloods and the Crips and how saboteurs and Asian provocateurs were used, the killing of Malcolm X. It's just like, literally, I mean, I've already been streaming for almost an hour, so if I were to pick up the next chapter, it would take another 2 hours, and I don't have the tabs all set up. But the next one is going to go into COINTELPRO, JFK assassinations, and so on and so forth. So, let me catch up on chat. Russia Gate. The company that built Epstein's Island was related to Doranin. Oh, good. Thank you for that. I scour Reddit and I scour YouTube comments. I go to when I go to Google, I don't ask Google what Google wants to tell me. I type into Google what I want Google to tell me, and then I see if I can find anything. That's how I manipulate Google. Naomi Campbell was his wife for a while. Naomi Campbell, the actress, I'm guessing, until they divorced. Then Doranin married a new wife from the same modeling agency. They buy the women from the catalogs, not the clothes. Yeah, and Trump had modeling agency of underage girls. Oh, of course modeling agencies are trafficking. Look at Hollywood. Look at Nixium. The Nixium. I think that's how it's spelled. American Multi-Level Marketing Company. Personal, professional development seminars through executive success programs of large group awareness training. But then, where is the Keith Raniere? He's the leader. Allison Mack. These are just two figures, and you can look this up for yourself. Keith Raniere, this guy got sentenced to like 160 years, 120 years in prison. This is Allison Mack, the actress. You can go look at her testimonies that she was tricked by them and she got abused and whatever. And then instead of turning the people who abused her in, she turned around and then she befriended young people in Hollywood and brought them into the cult as well. It's terrible. It's nasty. And directly what it pertains to is, and damn, the one thing I don't like about YouTube is there's probably going to be some graphic images that show up. So I'm going to do my best not to allow that to happen. And, I can't, I'm not going to bring it up because I just got off getting a strike. And I don't want to accidentally click on something that's pornographic and show it on YouTube. But if you look up Stormy Daniels Nixium, you can find the branding. Am I spelling this correctly? NXIVM branding. Yeah, I mean, just look it up. You can look. They've got the branding. I mean, you're all smart individuals. You can figure that out for yourself. Or the Brofmans sharing a lawyer with Alex Jones. Okay. Do we want to talk about Alex Jones? Because, listen, Alex Jones was probably, back in the days, Alex Jones was the only person on the internet speaking the truth. I mean, when I say the only person, maybe some of the people who are out now who have, like, independent news agencies, they had, their content was limited, whereas Alex Jones was broadcasting for, like, 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, and then doing nightly news segments, putting out videos, content, this, that, and the third. So, I might be a little bit biased towards Alex Jones. I understand Alex Jones having connections to Stratfor, the CIA intelligence program out of Austin. I think it's Austin. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. You have to understand back in the days. Okay, and then, you have to understand back in the days, this was they could get to people very easily, and there was so few people out there putting out information. Okay. I basically what I'm saying is I understand the potential for Alex Jones to be controlled opposition and what's called a gatekeeper. However, I'm not. I know enough of the situation where I'm not willing to condemn Alex Jones for anything. I will say that it annoys me with his Trump pumping rhetoric. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have a special place, but what he did to Bill Cooper. Okay, what did he do to Bill Cooper? Because I've been looking at this very recently, and oh wait, no, not Bill Cooper. Bill Hicks is what I was thinking of. Him and Bill Cooper didn't see eye to eye. I do know that, but that doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, look, Bill Cooper, before Bill Cooper was killed, he was out there talking reckless, saying that he was ready to die, ready to go to war. It's kind of like self-manifest destiny. And yeah, Alex Jones maybe added a little fuel to the fire, but I don't know if he had a directive from the CIA to get Bill Cooper killed. But enlighten me on this. Oh, see, I don't know. Thank you for. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into the. You know what though? You gotta understand. Have you ever seen the pictures of Alex Jones when he was young, with the bodybuilding Alex Jones? A lot of people think that Alex Jones was on did some performance enhancing drugs. It could have just been an egotistical, amped up, head to head, just yeah, macho thing, and I'm guessing Bill Cooper is older than was older than Alex Jones, so he was like I don't know enough about the situation. I will look into it though. Yeah. No, I don't necessarily think it was suicide by cop. They said he was holding a wasn't he holding an umbrella or something like that? Did he have a firearm in his hands when he got shot? I have William Cooper's book, The Pale Horse. I've watched many of his videos. I think he's a very articulate. I admire his courage. Same thing with Alex Jones. I admire both of the individuals. William Cooper was shot in the head by police, and at his front door. They said it was tax evasion. Or wait, no, it was tax evasion. They served a warrant. Yeah, see, I don't know. It's almost like the Ruby Ridge and the Waco stuff. Like they say this, they say that, but then again, they did fire incendiary rounds into a building that had civilians in it. Man, S90. Do you have a YouTube channel, or do you have? Because you're very knowledgeable. I'm gonna see what I can to get into chat room with you, or get in contact with you, because you are bringing you're reminding me of a lot of things that I have tucked away in the corners of my brain, and you are. I believe you've popped on my chat channel a few times in the past, and we've had the same exact dialogue. Not the same exact, but and then again, Doyle Shamley could have just been saying this or that. Yeah, but we've read the documents. All right, I'll look into it. So, wait, what were you saying? Oh, Biden. So when Donald Trump was doing business with the Gambinos and the Genovese, Joe Biden was senator of Delaware, and he was working directly with Frank Sheeran in the Teamsters. So it's all one big group, and Hillary Clinton was rubbing shoulders with the Gambinos and the Genovese as well. Yeah, I mean the Knights of Malta. That's where the Maltese Cross originates from, and you'll find the Maltese Cross on even African military. They have the Maltese Cross. Even African military, they have the Roman insignia of the eagle, the two-headed or the one-headed eagle. It's not necessarily secret society affiliation. I mean, look at ancient Hindu symbols and how a lot of the military stuff that we see around the world comes from ancient Hindu symbol. So it's like you have to you have to be your own filter. The courts, even the court said they are the same group. Steve Pachanik. I know all these names. It's just sometimes I just did this one like a week ago. Well, look, S90. I'll check it out. And Georgie is a new subscriber. Said he found me on YouTube. Welcome, Georgie. Uh, Thank you for stopping by and adding, even just asking questions. I love. So if somebody asks me a question, if somebody asks me a question, well, look, just going back to Alex Jones, like, what has Alex Jones not blown the lid on? If he really was a gatekeeper, what has he not spoken about? There's very few things that he hasn't spoken about in his own way. And I mean, the whole Sandy Hook debacle, all the stuff that went down, he literally had to go, like, he had to go to court and he had to say, so look, if you look at my live stream, it says the category is comedy. Because look, guys, this is all satire. This is LARP, live action role playing. I have what do you call mental health issues, you know, this, that, and the third, like, I suffer from mental illness, so this live action role playing is a way that I work out the problems in my head. You get what I'm saying? So when Alex Jones went to court, he said that everything he does is an act, this, that, and the third, because he didn't want all the blowback. He didn't want, like, whatever. Like, and then people go, see, Alex Jones said he was acting, and it's just, you know, some chess moves. By the way, this is all satire, comedy, and LARPing. None of this is true. None of it. Alex Jones documented Alex in covering the massive right wing. What's the CFR? Foreign relations. Yeah. Um. You know, I'm not gonna. I don't even really want to talk on Christianity. That's not part of this video right now. Religion is a tough concept. Council on Foreign Relations, yeah, yeah. Religion's a tough concept. We had a great video right now. I don't really want to get into religion. It literally would take me uh, multiple days to go over and talk and discuss. And you know, one of the things is, like, if I turn and I look to my bookshelf as I extend my headset, I'm just gonna, you know, I have the Bhagavad Gita, the Sri Upanishads, Tibetan Book of the Dead, Deepak Chopra, Insights on Tai Chi Wan, Alan Watts. I've got Dead Sea Scrolls. I've got books of shamans. I've got books of Native Americans. So, you know, it's just like, I don't know. Religion isn't something I really want to get into right now. It's tough. It's really tough. People get really inflammatory over religion when people start stating facts. So maybe Donald Trump, maybe Alex Jones doesn't want to touch religion just based on the fact that wait, what's the CNP? Oh, I agree. So okay, no, that brings up a perfect. That actually, I'm glad you brought that up now, because one of the issues that I have with with Alex Jones is all of a sudden, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't know anything about it, but I do have some thoughts on it before you even mentioned that. So give me a second. Um, You know, one of the things that I loved Alex Jones up until Donald Trump got elected, and I listened to a lot of the stuff that he said, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, wait a second. All the stuff they're saying about Alex Jones is true. He is a CIA agent. Look at how instantly he became pro-establishment. Look at how instantly he became all for not police brutality, but he loved law and order all of a sudden. All of a sudden he was pro-government. All of a sudden he was all for this stuff, and he just flipped all of a sudden. And then I was like, man, all the stuff they've been saying about Alex is true. But then again, Alex has had some rants where he goes off on Donald Trump. You know, I specifically have the clip saved on my computer where he just goes off for like 2 minutes and starts throwing F-bomb Trump, F-bomb Trump. It's hilarious, and you could tell he wasn't faking it. No, Georgie, you type perfectly fine. You type better than I do. Uh, are you? Do you speak Spanish? Um, well, so and then here's the deal, because I was like, yo, why is Alex Jones pumping Trump? Like, obviously, that's establishment. If martial law is gonna happen under anybody, it's gonna happen under Trump because the military doesn't support Biden. You know, if the military had to choose, a majority of the military would choose Trump. So I'm like, yo, this isn't good, people. This whole lock them up and military quarantines and checkpoints. This isn't good. That's not America. Um, but then again, it's like now that everything is locked down. Yeah, that does, yo. That it's not weird. It's concerning. It makes perfect sense to me that people are falling for the Trojan. I call John Donald Trump the Trojan horse. Um, but then when people wake up and they realize it, they go, "Oh crap, we are alone." No, 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 go back to sleep. Trump is good. Trump is good. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. It's not real. And I think people are just clinging to. I think people are just clinging to this idea that Donald Trump's going to save them because they don't want to accept the reality that we need to be independent. Yeah, one hand washes the other. But now I'm kind of seeing. I watch. So I love the Joe Rogan, Alex Jones shows. Yeah, Georgie, Project Paperclip, and that's what Casey gets into with the whole Hegelian system. I'm telling you, when I get this video out and edited and done, I know that you both are gonna appreciate it so well. Casey over at Enter the Stars is a genius. And the connection between Joe Rogan and Alex Jones is the person who started doing Alex Jones was the agent for Rogan and also the agent for Bill Hicks. So S90, what do you know about Bill Hicks? Because it's something that before I say anything about Bill Hicks, I want to know what you think about him because you're a knowledgeable person. Um, the person, let me think. Let me think. I forget the person's name, but he's a common. This is Bill Hicks, by the way, hilarious comedian. I believe that he was killed by the government, pancreatic cancer, just like Steve Jobs, right? I believe, and they have the technology to give somebody pancreatic cancer. I believe that he was killed because his comedy was so hilarious, but so just perfect, and it did like my entire hour. What are we going for? We're going for an hour and 10 minutes of stuff. He could get the point across in about 5 minutes, and he could do it better than me with his comedy. He was truly one of a kind. So where is the common his agent or whatever? I'm gonna find his name. Kevin Booth. Here we go. Kevin Booth is behind Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, and Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that he did. So I have heard. So before I go into it, is there anything you want to say on the whole Alex Jones is Bill Hicks or anything that you know before I say what I say? Is there anything that you Oh yeah, predictive programming. That's what Casey's entire thing is about. Predictive programming, the way that the Illuminati controls the music. They have, oh, what do they say? They say that Obama, when he says "Yes, we can," if you play it backwards, it says "Thank you, Satan." Um, so when yes we can, yes we can. Yeah, Obama's slogan was "Yes we can, yes we can, yes we can." Um, no, 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 no. Bill Hicks clearly died. Clearly died. Um, Clearly, without a doubt, Bill Hicks died. There's no way that this person could be compromised. No way. And you have to look, um, like, I love the guy, but Bill Hicks was a drug addict. There's no way that he could, there's no way that this person, like, this is Alex Jones, by the way. Without a doubt, that's Alex Jones. There's no way on earth that this person could fake being Bill Hicks. No way on earth. Now, they were 12 years apart. Bill Hicks died at age 32 when Alex Jones was in his 20s. Alex Jones lived a crazy life. Austin, Texas in the 80s was quite possibly, from the stories that I've heard, the wildest place in any time in history of Earth. It was like the Wild Wild West, but with Cadillacs and automatics. Think about that. There were no security cameras. Everybody had guns, so nobody called the police, and the police didn't want to deal with anybody because everybody had guns. This was during when Coke hit America, right? Coke hit in the 80s. Coke in the 70s, but Coke and crack in the 80s. Quite possibly the craziest time in history. So the rumor is that somehow Alex Jones met Bill Hicks, and Bill Hicks became somewhat of a person that Alex Jones looked up to, because Alex Jones's father educated Alex from a very young age about all this stuff about Kennedy and the Gulf of Tonkin, Bay of Pigs, and all the false flags that occurred. So Alex Jones knew about this stuff. So to hear Bill Hicks, the comedian, I think somehow Alex Jones knew Bill Hicks. If you listen to any of the Alex Jones clips about Alex Jones when they would accuse him of being Bill Hicks, every time he would try to explain it, look into his eyes, look into his soul. You'll see the man is fighting back tears, like, that was my friend. Like, that's the vibe I get from it. Like, you'll have to do some searching. I don't think Alex Jones will ever say it. Let me go here. Now, it doesn't say it anymore. They took him down off of YouTube. Back on the YouTube channel. Back on YouTube. Let me see if it's up there. We're going to end it after this because we're so off topic. I don't know if it's still up there. It is up there. The Ron Gibson channel. Now, this is totally my conjecture. It doesn't say it anymore. So back in the days, the Ron Gibson channel, and it used to have this person's picture. I don't think Ron Gibson is a real person, by the way, like this. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But back in the days, this is where I would go on YouTube to get all my Alex Jones stuff. Now, on the About section right here, Ron Gibson's channel, it said, "This is dedicated to my friend such and such, who took his own life because he was hunted and harassed by the government. He said he would never stop or rest. He would never sell out. He would never give in his soul. And I think that the Ron Gibson channel is Alex Jones's covert commemorization of his older friend and mentor, Bill Hicks, who was assassinated by the government for not shutting up. That's what I think. You can go back and you can look, and I think that Bill Hicks was the person who put Alex Jones onto psychedelics in his youth, because if you listen to Alex Jones, you'll hear him. He knows about psychedelics, but he doesn't do it anymore. He gets paranoid. When he was younger, like Joe Rogan says he does DMT every week. I'm just saying that's harmful. That's not good, okay? I mean, not saying that Joe Rogan is a bad person or he's in a bad place. For most people, that type of stuff is not good. So Alex Jones has been to the land. Alex Jones has been to Never Never Land. I'll just put it that way. No, it's all good. I like this. I know people aren't going to listen to a video if it says 2 hours. But hey, we can do this in like a day or two. yeah, like Alex Jones, so I think the whole reason that he like goes on to the whole Christian ideology and doesn't speak out about certain stuff, he speaks from experience, but he won't really admit to it. You do DMT, you go to space prison for 60,000 years. Yo, we gotta end on that. Oh, man. Thank you, guys. Oh, man. I got some more work to do, but thank you. Hey, well, we could just keep talking. They approved the Pfizer vaccine for emergency use. But, wait a second. There is more to the video, so no, we're not going to end it right here. No, we're not going to end it. Don't go. Look, I only made it through half of these tabs. So one of the people that talked about. So Thomas Dewey was the mayor of New York at the time when John Dewey was the father of psychology and education. Now, this is the same time that Fred Trump spent money at the Q Forest School. Q Forest Elementary School. Right here. Donald Trump paid a lot of money to get his children into this school. Not Donald Trump, Fred Trump. So Thomas Dewey, the whole point of this election of this election video was to talk about the election today. Thomas Dewey ran for president multiple times, and this goes into the Hegelian dialect, just to show that just because somebody loses an election doesn't mean that they're not part of the group, right? So the 2000 election, which oddly enough was 19 years ago, 20 years ago, which is not a complete Metonic cycle. This is something that we cover, right? Metonic cycle. Bring up one more. So the Metonic cycle is a 19-year cycle, and it occurs on solstices. So the solstice, the lunar eclipse will happen exactly 19 years. So 19 years ago, there was a lunar eclipse on December 21st. And it's going to happen again on this December 21st, exactly 19 years. And Diodorus Siculus reports that Apollo is said to have visited the Hyperboreans every 19 years. Well, today, Mnuchin, the Jesuit-controlled Secretary of Treasury, was in front of Congress getting grilled over Jared Kushner's business was loaned hundreds of millions of dollars by a company named Apollo Global Management. Apollo Global Management I had their Wikipedia up. Apollo Global Management, founded by somebody named Josh Harris. Now, I don't know if this is a connection to the Isle of Harris and the Isle of Lewis, where his mother comes from, but also look on the other side of the aisle. We have Kamala Harris, who, when Joe Biden steps down for, I think it's 25th Amendment. No, 25th is. Anyways, he's going to step down for health reasons, or he's going to get coronavirus. Harris will be the first, black female president. Hey, I'll clap for that. But after I'm done clapping, I will say that it's all Hegelian dialect. So that's the whole Metonic cycle, 19-year, the whole Apollo thing, right? So 20 years ago was the presidential dispute over voting machines. The HAVA Act, Help America Vote Act, was passed to help states upgrade election technology in hopes of preventing similar problems in future elections. Unfortunately, the electronic voting systems that many purchased promptly with HAVA actually caused problems in the election of 2004, and I'm going to get into that. The problem with the 2000 election was they used paper-based punch voting machines, were either unable to understand the required process for voting or unable to perform the process. Plus, we have the issue of things not getting caught. So, yeah, Casey does it. I don't want to take credit for it. Casey does it. Casey at Enter the Stars. Just brilliant, genius. The stuff that he finds, I don't know how he finds it. He's special. So, look, Diebold Election Systems was 2002. They entered the United States election industry through the acquisition of Global Electronics to produce a touchscreen voting system based in McKinney, Texas. Blah, blah, blah. Diebold. Let's look. For those who don't know what Diebold is, Diebold Nixdorf is what they're now called because they acquired the company Nixdorf in 2016. But originally, Charles Diebold, from where else but Bavaria, Germany, got his start building bank vaults. And Diebold creates ATM machines. So Diebold founded 1859 in the United States. In 1874, Wells Fargo to make the world's largest vault at the time. And they've made safes and vaults ever since then. Now, Dominion Voting Systems, the one that they currently use, purchased Premier Election Solutions, formerly Diebold Election Systems. Look. May 2010, Dominion acquired Premier Election Solutions, formerly Diebold Election Systems. Can't make this stuff up. I can't. Like, if I was to write a book, people would be like, this is the stupidest book in the world. How did the people not realize it? Right? Al Gore's part of their family, too. Look at them. Look at them. Look, they might as well be brothers. Not saying that anybody who looks like this is part of the group, but, anyways, I just want to say, for anybody who is in the stock market or anybody who just wants to know, yeah, for anybody who wants to know, this article is really great. So, December 8th, I don't know if this was the one that I wanted to look at. Okay. Yeah, no, this is not bad here. So December 14th, which is Monday, that's when the Electoral College votes. I don't know exactly what time we'll get the news. It's a little crazy. The prospect of faithless electors or electors who vote for someone other than their party's nominee has been a hotly debated topic. However, this only occurs on rare occasions and has never altered a presidential election outcome. Furthermore, 33 states in the District of Columbia require electors to vote with the candidate chosen by voters during the popular vote. Um, then, December 23rd is the deadline for the electoral vote to certify. All right, take care, Georgie. We'll be here when you get back. Well, not on the live stream, but my channel will be here, and you can go find S90 on YouTube. He said if you go through the chat, you'll find ways to find him and his work. So, December 23rd, 2020 is when all the electoral votes must be finalized. That being said, all the stuff that's going on with the dispute over the lawsuits, is it doesn't have to really it doesn't have to manifest anything. It just has to manifest doubt in the Electoral College. That's all it has to do, and I think they've done it. The lawsuits do not have to result in anything. Is this the 2000 election? Where was I reading? I was reading it here. Basically, okay, here's the recount. And then, long story short, what happened was before this key date, before the key certification date, right? The Supreme Court ruled. They handed down a ruling, and then the recount stopped. That was what happened in 2000. So, so basically what I'm saying is the stuff that's happening in court right now with the lawsuit that Texas filed and all the other states are jumping on, it doesn't have to turn into anything. It doesn't have to manifest anything. It just has to manifest doubt. Hold on. I've been talking for a long time. Excuse me, I had to drink something. So it doesn't have to manifest. It just has to cause the Electoral College to vote in favor of Trump, which that's what they're going to do. It just, in my opinion, that's what they're going to do. Now, for those of you who are in the stock market, the options expire on the 18th. Okay, so the monthly options expire on the 18th. About 3 months ago, I bought some puts for the market, and now I'm worried that the stuff that happens on the 14th might not be certified until after these puts, so I might lose some money. But then I've got some January and March puts. So yeah, I mean, in all honesty, the approval of Pfizer happening here is going to send the stock market up, in my opinion. But going into the 14th, 15th, 16th, going into this week, it could be what's called a bull trap to get people to just purchase stocks, say risk on, throw caution into the wind, not hedge their bets, not cover their behinds, and just lose a whole ton of money when these markets reverse, maybe overnight. It's again, I'm not going to get into economics. I'm not the best at it, but that might be another video. This is the drama, and it's all before Christmas, all before the new year. And they want chaos, they want dissent so that we tear down. You're absolutely right. But do you see any other way to prevent 5G from destroying all the children in the country? Do you see any way to prevent vaccines from making all the children sterile and having all these complications? Do you see any other way to prevent the chemtrails, the nuclear radiation poisoning from the radiation plants, the poisoning of the groundwater? Do we see any other way? I would love a velvet revolution, but it's just not going to happen because people are too just they're I don't know. People are just what they are. And it's look, I'm not my contribution to the so-called revolution is this right here, having a YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I can only reach 2-3 people at a time, right? Not even comfortable, because everybody kind of knows in the back of their minds that something is going to happen. They know in the back of their minds, like, okay, there's going to be a civil war. Nobody wants civil war, but everybody knows, and they look at it like, well, after the civil war, if my team wins, there's going to be twice the amount of resources, so everything's going to cost at least half as much. So people are just kind of like settling for that. They're like, well, if my side wins, then life will be good. I don't believe I don't believe in that. I am, you know, I you know, it's crazy. It's just it. So yeah, that's kind of like what we face. That's that's what's going on right now. And there's a whole. I mean, December 21st is the end of the Metonic cycle. Jupiter and Saturn align. It's the beginning of solar flares. It's more than just political drama, more than just the end of a fiat system. By the way, the average shelf life of a fiat currency is something like 90 some odd years. I mean, you see through my gardening videos, my solution to the problem is for everybody to plant a garden. Just start there. Just start by planting a garden and fail at it. But guess what? It's fun, and we learn things. We connect with nature, and we connect with each other. We connect with our neighbors. We stop spraying the chemicals. We, if you were to go to my town and drive like the main road from one part of town to the other part of town, you'll pass a Dunkin' Donuts every 3 minutes. You'll get whiplash from looking left and right at every burger joint and every bar. And our country, our entire economy is propped up on Monday night football, Sunday night football, Thursday night football, Saturday night college football, burgers, wings, beer, and spending as much fuel as possible to drive to some far off place to escape the reality of our mundane existence. That's what our economy is. So that's why that's why I enjoy doing the gardening videos. It's therapeutic. It truly is a solution. It may not be the I was about to say the final solution. It may not be the most important thing that we do. It may not be the most important thing that we do in terms of, it may not win the war against whatever, whoever, whatever, oppression, we'll call it. It may not win the war, but it's a start, There's nothing like, I can't. Ooh, naughty. What did I say? Oh, yeah. I mean, so, no, it's like, honestly, if I could express the pleasure that I get from handing somebody food that I grew, just giving them food for free. Last year I had a whole bunch of Illinois Cushaw crookneck squash, and these things grew giant, like 40-pound squash. The joy of handing that to somebody and knowing that somebody can eat that squash for a week and feed a family of 10 Like, here you go. And they're like, oh, really? How much is it? I'm like, it's free. Oh, man, blah, 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 blah. No, you don't get it. Like, it grew all by itself. And, like, when I brought, I had a huge oregano bush that I chopped up because I had to move it. And I divided it into sections and I gave it away. Like, just something simple as that. But people don't want to, people want. And I can't blame them. But at the same time, yeah, we destroy them to keep the price high, and that's America. America is the only thing that matters is for profit. How much money can you make, and this, that, and the third. But listen, uh, an hour, 35 minutes. I'm gonna call it. I just got a game. I just got a video game. The first video game I bought in years. In years. I think the last video game I bought was Diablo 3. Not when it was first released, but like 5 years ago, right? But I bought Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm playing that a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I try not to get into video games too much, but if I only focus on this, like my relief used to be going out, what I used to do, and I spoke about the whole fast food and burgers and all that stuff. On Saturday nights I'd go out to the bar to watch boxing events or UFC events because there's nothing like sitting in a bar and hearing the cheers and all the comments like, get him, hit him, knock him out. There's nothing like that environment. So I'm not a total like shut in. Um, and I used to like going walking around in nature. Um, I used to like I used to go to the gym. That used to be my therapy. Go to the gym, play some really violent, angry, loud music, and just work through my problems. But I don't go to the gym because I had infant pneumonia as a result of vaccine damage. I had tubes put in my ears. I had Lyme disease a few years ago, so I don't go out. I don't go out. I'm not really scared of coronavirus in those terms. You can go through. I'm gonna do some. Oh shit! I might have said the word. Imagine this whole thing gets deleted because of that. Anyways, uh, yeah, I'm just gonna. You know what I'm saying? Save it. Just download the video while you can. They're burning books left and right. All right, I'll check them out. I will definitely check them out. Anyways, I'm gonna end it for real. They say the Italians, they're always like, all right, I'll see you later. And then they keep talking, all right, I'll see you later. I'll keep talking. One half of my family's Italian, so that's where it comes from. But then they say the Irish goodbye is just not saying anything and leaving. So, Irish goodbye.